Let's talk social distancing briefly, how venues are currently going about it, how it's evolving, and how Spinzo is building tools to accommodate the evolution, way beyond pods. Okay, so right now, most everyone is focused on the pod model. We call it the pre-created strict pod model, since pods are created in advance. The venue would remanifest its seats into pods of 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and a buyer must purchase the entire pod if they want those seats. This is how most venues are currently thinking about social distancing, and it generally works well until you run out of pod sizes and are stuck with an excess of others. So imagine you're 24 hours from the event and you have a few hundred pods of 3 remaining. Not so good. This is where Spinzo has created a new solution called the pre-created loose pod model. This is something you can turn on closer to the event time if some of your pod sizes are not selling. In this approach, buyers are permitted to buy a subset of seats in a pod. When this happens, Spinzo does not sell the remaining seats in the pod. The benefit here is that at least you pull some revenue for the seats that you wouldn't have otherwise sold. Alright, ready to push the envelope? Spinzo's pioneering a third approach to social distancing called rules-based dynamic allocation. In this approach, you don't need to pre-create pods at all. The system automatically serves up options to buyers that are sufficiently distanced from others. This creates maximum efficiency and sell-through. If someone wants 4 seats, the system will find them optimal areas for 4 seats, safely apart from others. Finally, as a fourth approach, we've adapted the rules-based method with an additional constraint to only have 2 separated parties per row. We've encountered venues and jurisdictions that are seeking this approach, but not wanting to do the pod model, so this approach is for them. Alright, so here's where things get very flexible. All of the seat allocation methods I discussed can be bundled into what Spinzo calls rule sets. Why? Because we have venues that have different seat widths in the lower bowl versus the upper bowl, for example. So the rules for seats between parties need to be different. No problem. A rule set has a seat allocation method and a set of rules. You can apply a rule set to all inventory, even rows, odd rows, or specific rows. Why specific rows? Because you might have a unique setup where a half wall separates seats for a few rows. Let the wall be the social distancer. You can create a pod model rule set for those rows and put pods on both sides of the wall. So overall, the combination of Spinzo's 4 seat allocation methods and the concept of rule sets allows sports teams and venues to accomplish different goals based on seating zone and desired sell-through velocity. At Spinzo, we're doing our best to bring innovation to social distancing. So let us know what you think about this, or reach out to us with other ideas.